Hi everyone. It's a while since I've done one of these videos about the home network infrastructure I have here. I've been doing these over the years and um, updating them every few years. So it's been a few years since the last update. So I'll take a run through it. I've still got this 36U cabinet here in the garage that I had in the last video. But quite a bit has changed both inside the cabinet and throughout the rest of the house. So I'll just take a run through. Right, so down at the bottom, still my old reliable APC 3 kVA UPS. That's had new batteries recently, and it's providing about 1 hour of backup with the current load here. Thankfully, we don't really get power failures here, but it works perfectly on the rare occasions that we do. Up above that is an old, what used to be my old Citrix Zen server. I moved away from Zen server to Proxmox a while back, but that's not running at all now, that machine, because I've had an upgrade here. This is now my Proxmox machine, and this has this is a super micro hardware, and it's an Intel scalable silver CPU, 24 core with 64 gig of RAM and an SSD for running the VMs. I've got a selection of VMs on there. I've got my email server, web server, various different machines. I've got a media server. I've got a machine running Docker containers and various different machines. Proxmox I find very good, and there's backups that do daily backups and weekly backups. Daily backups locally to the storage here, and weekly backups off-site to another location. Above that, I've got the first of two Synologies. This is an old disk station. 2 discs in there in RAID 1, 3 terabyte discs in RAID 1, and that is just entirely for my security cameras. I've got 4 Reolink security cameras here. Well, 3 cameras and 1 doorbell, all Reolink, all PoE. Just beside that, I have an interesting piece of kit. It's called a SAT IP server, and you can see there's 2 satellite cables coming in the back there, and it's basically just 2 satellite tuners, and then it spits out the output as IP, and that goes to another machine, which I'll talk about later. It's up in the attic, and that's just related with my full-time job, just an interest I have, and related with my full-time job. You know, broadcast and video streaming, and it's just something I'm very interested in, and I like to experiment with. So above that, I have the second Synology, and this has got again 2 discs, RAID 1, and they're 4 terabytes. They're 4 terabytes each, and that's just for the main storage for the house. I know that doesn't sound like a lot of storage, 4 terabytes, but what I find with storage is I could go and buy, you know, a couple of 8 terabyte discs or even a couple of 12 terabyte discs. But what I find is the more storage you have, the more you fill it up. And content is so easy to get nowadays in terms of media and movies, whatever you might want. I find it easier just to do a good cleanup every once in a while with stuff that's not needed, rather than having loads and loads of storage and not maintaining it. So above that, I have my ISP infrastructure. Actually, just on a point there, this one is for the security cameras. This records the security cameras, but the security cameras also record off-site. So there's 2 streams for them. They also record off-site. Obviously, you know, hopefully it never happens, but obviously if there was a burglary here and this was stolen, I would still have the footage, because I have a second stream recording off-site from those cameras. But anyway, this is my ISP shelf here. I actually have 2 ISPs here, 2 fibers coming into the house. So the first fiber actually comes in the hallway and not in the garage. and the ONT for that is in the hallway. So I have an Ethernet cable running across from the hallway to the garage and into this Cisco 890 series, and this is the first ISP, and that's with a company called Andrews and Arnold, and that is provided by OpenReach. So that's an OpenReach, OpenReach BT, GPON fibre, and the ISP is Andrews and Arnold, and this is the guys I've been with for a very, very long time. But I also now, for about the past 2 years, also have a second ISP. So this is an ONT for it here. You can see the fibre, you can see it there, just about see the fibre coming right into the back of that one. And this is with a company called Fibers, who have been more recently available to this area. So the reason I have two ISPs, Andrews and Arnold is fantastic and always has been fantastic ISP, and I have multiple public addresses with them. I have 32 public addresses. This is why I have the router. It's terminated into the router and not directly into the firewall. So the router spits out the 32 public addresses on the LAN side, and then I'm able to terminate them on the firewall or wherever I want. So Andrews and Arnold are absolutely fantastic for reliability, for support, and for running things like email server and stuff like that. They're absolutely fantastic for that purpose. Fibers are fantastic for price and just outright bandwidth. They're really, really good. That's why I have two. Each link has its own qualities. So this Fibers link is currently 300 meg symmetric. That's 300 meg both ways. The Andrews and Arnold link is 100 meg or 115 meg down, and I think 20 meg up. So I actually have this one at the lowest setting just to keep the balance out the cost of having two. Both links would be capable of a gig if I wanted to pay for it, but I think that's completely unnecessary. What I like about the Fibers link is the increased upstream. I can get 300 meg up on that, whereas even if I went for the top package with OpenReach, on the OpenReach fibre, I would still only get 100 meg up, even if I had the 1 gig down. So that's another reason why I have two ISPs. And also just because, we waited so long to get fibre to the premises. It felt like we waited 20 years to get fibre to the premises, and then when I had the option for two, I just took it. Right, so above that is the main firewall here, and this is running, the hardware here is, it's Caswell Car. I got this on eBay, and it's Caswell Car is the make of this hardware, and they produce appliances for I think Smoothwall is probably the biggest one, but this is just it's an Intel Mobile i5 processor, and it has 8 gig of RAM and an SSD in it. Very, very capable piece of hardware for a firewall, but it's very low power as well, and it doesn't have a VGA output, so to install it you have to use USB and a console cable here. So I've got pfSense running on this, and I have the main LAN here, I have a sync cable here because I was going to install a second one at some point. Excuse me. And I have this is an LACP link here, these two cables carrying all my VLANs. So pfSense is what I run here. I've got multiple different VLANs. I've got my main LAN that my wife and myself use, and the LAN has access to everything, all the different devices. Excuse me. I have a guest network which only has access to the internet. I have an automation network for all the smart home devices which only has access to the internet. I have the kids VLAN as well, which only has access to the internet, but is also the internet access is limited to certain times of the day, and that is managed by pfSense. This also runs Zen Armor on here as well, which is a next generation firewall, and it is used to provide filtering for all networks, like ad filtering and stuff like that, but also provides quite a lot of filtering for specifically for the child or for our kids VLAN, for obvious safety reasons there. So the various VLANs, obviously we have the various wireless SSIDs to go with those. Above that, I used to have Cisco 3750 here. Now I have not one but two 3850s in a stack. So these are stacked with the T1 stacking cable. The price of these on eBay now is so good that I got one and then I just couldn't resist buying a second one and building a stack out of them. Completely overkill, but I just couldn't resist. What's good about these 3850s is they have a built-in wireless LAN controller. So I upgraded my wireless access points recently, and I'm now using these to control those. So they're now controller based, which just makes it the management of them a bit easier, and the monitoring of the access points a bit easier than having to go into and control each access point individually. Above that, I have the patch panel, main patch panel for the house. I have a second patch panel. I don't think I had that installed for the last video, but that's just because I've installed more points in the house. So I have additional points. Some of the new points, data points I've added, for example, this point over here is new, or reasonably new, and that was installed. I installed that for this solar inverter here. This is also new since the last video, a couple of years old. I had this, so there's, on the roof of the house, we have a 5.7 kilowatt solar array, and that comes down there, and there's the black DC cables there, and that comes into that inverter. So this point was installed to monitor that. We also have a Zappy car charge point over here, which will automatically charge the cars on solar when there's solar surplus. Unfortunately, not at the minute. It's very cloudy out. Bit of a mess of cables, and there's the my old access points, the old 1142N access points, and they have been replaced with, here's the first one, the 3702 access points, which are a much newer, much faster access point, and as I say, they're controller based now. We have 4 of them in the house, sorry, 4 in total. We've got 1 here in the garage, we've got 2 in the house, and I have 1, I dug a trench across the back garden and installed 1 in a playhouse at the back of the garden to provide good coverage for the garden, because I prefer to use 5 gigahertz for most things, because it's just, I find it much better. So unfortunately the range of 5 gigahertz is poor, so you just have to flood the whole place with it. And as I say, those access points have all the various different SSIDs to go with the different VLANs we have. Over here, I've got my solar project that I've had for quite a few years. There's been quite a few changes to this since the last video. Mainly the infrastructure, the kit has been upgraded to this Victron. Victron is well, as far as I can tell, it's the best name there is in off-grid solar. So this charge controller has been upgraded to a Victron charge controller. This inverter was upgraded to Victron, and I installed this Victron smart shunt for monitoring the battery. The battery's also new. I've upgraded from lead acid, and I have a 280 amp hour lithium iron phosphate. Now this chemistry, lithium iron phosphate, is a much safer chemistry than lithium ion. I think there's much less chance, or I think it's actually maybe impossible for them to experience thermal runaway. So lithium iron phosphate's a good choice for home batteries. Slightly less energy dense than lithium ion, but very, very safe chemistry, and you can charge them to 100% regularly without any concerns. So I'm currently testing this one and charging it and discharging it in full cycles over and over. So it automatically runs the fridge and the oil heating in the event of power failure and stuff via this inverter here. And I have, get that, Home Assistant. I still have Home Assistant, would be lost without it. It runs as a Docker container within Proxmox. So you can see there I've got switches for computers, various different things, controls for the blinds, controls, there's a smart alarm system, there's the front door, that's a smart lock. There's a home cinema to turn on the projector and amplifier and everything for the home cinema. There's various other switches which are mostly automated. There's the security cameras. That tells me whether or not my wife and I are at home. That's for various automations. And there is the heating system. There's the solar project. So that one there, the solar project, that relates to this kit here. Excuse me. So that tells me all the different parameters there. So currently 40 watts outputting, very cloudy day today, 40 watts from those panels at the front. The battery's almost fully charged there, 93%. And there's the current going to the battery. And then on down, I've got the output from the main solar, so that's the information from that. And that's also here in Home Assistant, so currently outputting 1100 watts. We're drawing 46 watts from the grid, now 0 watts, so we're covering all our usage in the house. And then we're sending about a very small amount of power to the immersion heater to heat water. This is a very, very cloudy day today. So this information from the solar project, most of that comes from the Victron kit. So this Raspberry Pi here connects to the Victron kit here, and the inverter and the solar charger or charge controller and the shunt, and that's where this information comes from. Most of this information comes from that. And then the other Raspberry Pi there is the web server that runs brana.ie. It still runs on solar power, but I haven't updated it in a very long time. I need to do that. Alright, so getting into the house. So here under the stairs I have some more kit. This is the very center of the house here. So this is where I chose to install my smart hubs. Whenever I was wiring the Cat 6 throughout the house, I installed this quadruple point here, and I just put this shelf up. So this is where I have the smart hubs for the smart devices. So left to right, I've got this one is the My Energy hub. So this is the one that monitors and controls the Zappi car charge point, and also the Eddy hot water diverter, which is here. So that's the hot water diverter that automatically sends power to the immersion heater when there's solar surplus, and when the immersion, whenever the tank is fully hot, then the solar surplus will automatically get sent to one of the cars if it's plugged in, if one of the cars is plugged in. So that's the hub that controls that kit. This is the hub, the Philips Hue hub for the Philips Hue lights. This one is the Hive hub for the Hive smart heating system. And then we have the Yale hub for the smart alarm system and the front door lock. And you will see here that these devices are all powered by these are called PoE splitters. So instead of having multiple power adapters here, the power comes from the switch over PoE, and then I use these PoE splitters. So it's just a bit tidier, and it means that if need be, I can turn these off and on remotely if I ever need it. And using these PoE splitters, you can pretty much power any device, any small device like this, any small low voltage device using power over Ethernet. Very, very useful. Actually, that SAT IP server that I showed in the garage, that is running off one of these PoE splitters as well. And obviously the access points I have, and the doorbell, the security cameras there, that's all PoE. Right, out into the hall here and up on the ceiling. That's the downstairs access point for the house there. 3702, AeroNet 3702. I'll just show down here in the hallway. This is where the OpenReach fibre comes in for the Andrews and Arnold link. If I can open this up, it should open. Oh. So this is the ONT for the OpenReach or BT GPON gigabit passive optical network. This is where it comes in, and the reason it's here, the reason this fibre comes in here is because this is just where the old BT master socket used to be in this house. So that's where the fibre comes in. That's where the guys installed it. So this is a fibre coming in here into the ONT here, and then this is the cable that I installed, Ethernet cable that I installed, that goes up the wall and across the garage to the Cisco 890 series router. Thankfully, this is one of the older units that has the battery backup supply. It takes 4 AA rechargeables. I don't think they supply these anymore. They just supply this unit. They don't supply any battery backup or anything with them. So thankfully I do have the battery backup, because obviously this isn't covered by the UPS because it's over here. The other fibre, the fibrous one, it just goes directly into the garage because it was installed much later. So I was able to ask them just to install it directly into the garage. If I can get that closed. Right, going just up the stairs. You see here in the ceiling, that's another access point. That's for upstairs. Now in here we have my main workstation here. That's the machine up there, up on the wall, on the shelf, and that's fairly recent. That's AMD Ryzen 9 12 core, and it has 16 gig of RAM and a NVMe drive. So very nice quick machine, particularly when it's booting up, very quick. Over here I have another wall mounted cabinet, and despite having all the switch capacity downstairs, I actually have another switch here, and the reason being, I use this area for testing various things. I have a small video encoder in there. It's just related to what I do for a living. I work with video streaming and broadcast and stuff, so I just have an interest in that. So every room in this house, every bedroom in this house, this is a spare room here, every bedroom I installed a double data point. I don't know if I can see it down there. Yes, you can just about see it. That's one double data point in each bedroom, and already that's not enough in this case. So I just have this, I got this cabinet free, and I just got this Cisco 2960CX, which is a fanless desktop switch, but I was able to get these brackets to wall mount it, or to rack mount it, and it's fanless because obviously this is a guest bedroom. So I have this LACP link. This goes down to the stack in the garage, one to each switch in the garage, and then it provides me more switch ports up here. And this is PoE plus as well, this switch actually. At some point I probably will just bring more cables up from the garage, because obviously I have ample switch capacity down there, but for now this switch does the job. And then I go to the attic. So up here, I touched on I talked earlier about the SAT IP server that takes a feed from satellite and turns it into IP, and where that goes to is here. This is a Raspberry Pi, and you can see there, I'm in my own shadow unfortunately, you can see there that is a Pi TV hat, and then I also have these two TV tuners here. So these are terrestrial DVB-T or DVB-T2 TV tuners, and then I have the SAT over IP, so there's two satellite tuners, and then there's these two tuners here, and a third tuner here, and that is just to pick up terrestrial broadcasts. and again that's just relating to what I'm interested in, and video streaming and broadcast, just an interest I have. So I have two tuners here, and they go to this high gain Yagi antenna, and that's pointed at the Wicklow Mountains just south of Dublin, and that receives Searview, Irish digital terrestrial TV. And then I have this log periodic antenna here, and it is pointed at Divis in Belfast, and that receives Freeview, UK Freeview, UK digital terrestrial TV, and that all comes together in this Raspberry Pi here running TV head end. So that's available. That then I can do whatever I need to do, or whatever I want to do with that video content. And that's it. That's the whole tour of all the upgrades and changes since the last video. Catch us again.